Okay, so in the last video, before the random BS one, I asked you guys who are new to the channel to subscribe to help me reach 1,000 before Halloween, and I must say, we've blown up. So, you know, I think there are 25 to 30 more of you guys in the span of like 2 days, so thank you for that. And if you're new to the channel and just watching the video, feel free to subscribe to help me reach 1,000 before Halloween. Promise you won't regret it. Now into the video. Hey, this is End of the Road Haunts, and today I have a bit of a theory video for you. Now, mind you, it is just a theory. Do I honestly think this is true? Not really. There are quite a lot of things to disprove it, but, let's just start you off with the juicy bits. So, recently, unless you've been living under a rock, Spirit has released these figure keychains of their animatronics. Now, most of them make monetary sense to put in. For example, let's go through them all. Uncle Charlie has been requested for quite a while. He's fairly recent, still talked about. Now, this is the new one, which I think people would like the old one more, but whatever. The next one is Pumpkin Nuster. Again, highly requested. Pumpkin Nuster doll this year. Some other merch, I think. And so, people also want him to return. And he hasn't yet, but in, next year, I think he definitely will for his 10-year anniversary. Bloody Bag of Jokes is a recent prop. He's came back in 2021. Makes a lot of sense to have him, too. Man's Possessed Friend. Makes sense, He's still in stores being sold, I think. Only at specific locations, maybe, because I haven't seen him too much. But they're still returning him in stores. So it makes sense to have him, and he has returned for, quite a while straight. Then there's Little Skelly Bones. The original hasn't returned or anything, but he has been remade-ish. So, makes sense to have him. There's a bit of merch for him as well. And he's an iconic character. Makes sense to have him. Crouchy, I'm not even going to touch on this, damn it. The Hauntress, she was, returned last year, and she was a fairly decent seller. So, again, being talked about-ish, people did like her quite a bit. Then there's Miserable Marie, which I don't get, because Spirit seems to be having a bit of an obsession with her recently, because, I don't know, I don't get it. Maybe she's gonna be, worked into this theory somehow, but I don't think so. But you may notice I'm missing 3 of them. The first one I'll go over is Roaming Antique Doll. I find this one a very bizarre choice because, she wasn't that requested. She's quite old. And, I don't know why people would it would be their go-to animatronic, especially for 2014. Or a few others, even Bloodless, that they could have gone for with this. Although, she returned recently, putting her back into the spotlight, so it does make sense to have her. So I'd like to address the 2 others, Nightmare Harvester and Hugs the Clown. Now, of course, these could just be explained by a few things that I will get into. But here's the thing, these weren't really topical. I've seen some requests to return Nightmare Harvester, not many for Hugs though, maybe in the future. But, these guys weren't talked about that much. So monetarily speaking, while they did sell well, and people did really like them in 2018, doesn't make the most sense to put them in the, figure bags. Although I do definitely find it kinda interesting how, compared to the others, they might not be the most famous. And so my theory is that with this tidbit of information, they might be returning this year. And I do have quite a lot of things to back it up. Number 1 was that, what I just explained. Number 2, so that Spirit does usually have 3-ish Flashback Fridays nowadays. And so Roaming Antique Doll is one, and so Hugs and Nightmare Harvester could be the other 2. The third one is that I have seen them fairly requested. Nightmare Harvester was requested, and Hugs wasn't quite requested, but people did quite like him, and he sold, fairly well. So it would also make sense for people to want him. Although, as I've said, there are some things disproving this theory. Number 1, we might have already had our flashback props for the year, being Young Crouchy and Lil Skelly Bones, because they're kind of like remakes. Now, I wouldn't fully say this, but, whatever. The next thing is that these guys haven't been hinted to at all. Not by Spirit, which you could argue Roaming Antique Doll wasn't either. Although they haven't even been found in leaks. Because, as, Roaming Antique Doll, a few weeks, even months ago, we knew she'd be coming back through the leaks. Which, if they haven't found, Hugs and Nightmare Harvester by now, doesn't look great. Could argue maybe they're, maybe, they haven't been made yet, maybe shipments aren't in, but, I don't know. And another thing that I personally argue is that it would not make sense to have the blind bags before the characters, because you'd probably, see the animatronics and be like, oh, hey, that one in the blind bag, that's that one, cool. So it wouldn't make as much sense. Although, as I've said, it's just a theory, like and subscribe if you're new. Tell me what you think of this, if you think they should return, and I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.